Okay, so the next topic we're going to talk about is variables. That's a pretty important topic in algebra. So this is just a very short, very quick video, just to make sure that we're all on the same page with regard to variables. So in this video, we've got only one learning objective, and that learning objective is just simply to understand what a variable is. Okay, so a variable, quite simply, as far as algebra is concerned, in algebra, a variable is a symbol, usually a letter, that either represents something that changes, okay, that's where the term variable comes from, right? Variable means that it's allowed to change, it can vary. So it could represent something that changes, or the other thing it could represent is something that we're not sure about, an unknown. Okay, so that's all a variable is. It's a symbol, usually a letter, that represents something either that changes or something that we don't know. In our class, that something that it represents is almost always going to be a number, okay? Now, this isn't true universally in all of algebra, but in our class, for the algebra that we'll be doing, variables will represent a number. Now, the reason why that's important that it represents a number is because all of the rules that we have learned and will learn about numbers will still apply to variables because variables represent numbers. So for example, we know from our previous video that the way we simplify with numbers is we use order of operations. That means the way we'll simplify with variables is we'll use order of operations. We know numbers have a property called the distributive property. That means variables also have a property called a distributive property, okay? So for example, if I have 3 times x plus 2, this is a situation where I have something that's either allowed to change or it's just simply something that I don't know what it is. Now, in this particular case, we have no context, so we're not sure which one of those things it is, but it doesn't matter. What we're going to do is we're going to take that expression and simplify it using the distributive property. So because a variable represents a number, that means we can treat this just like we would any number. In other words, we can take the 3 and we can distribute it into the parentheses. So that's going to give me a 3 times an x and a 3 times a 2. So when I simplify those, I end up with 3x plus 6. Okay? Now, for the purposes of this video, I think that's as far as we need to go with variables. Simply knowing that it's a letter, usually in our class, that represents a number in our class, and that number is something that's either allowed to change or it's just simply a number that we don't know. Okay? And that's what we need to know for variables as we begin our course here today. Thanks for watching.